Happy Friday, everyone. I know you guys were probably expecting our host, Buzz Busby, to be running the video for today, because that's all he's done in the past 4 years, but he's a little preoccupied with some stuff, so today he has agreed to let me host the show, talk about some of these really big upsets from last week in more numerical fashion. He's actually agreed to finally let me eat something in exchange. I am just so thrilled. This might be the greatest day I've had in a long time. So let's dive into it. First game I want to go over. This was the first of the butt whippings that the top 10 took yesterday. That was Texas 8-4 against Missouri. Now the model had this as a close game, which most people would think might be kind of strange. Missouri was a top 10 team. I think they were number 9 at the time, and Texas A&M was barely in the top 25. Had lost to a Notre Dame team that had lost to basically Air and a Northern Illinois team. So how is this going to happen? Now, the outcome itself wasn't that hard to see coming. Like a Texas A&M victory. A&M, 8-4. I'm sorry, they're supposed to be called 8-4 on this show until they stop going 8-4 every season. So Texas 8-4 was favored according to the Vegas odds. Our model had them as a slight underdog, which we're very disappointed in the fact that we didn't get this game right, considering it was such a clear outcome. But it seemed reasonable Texas 8-4 could win this game. It's just the way they did it was so astounding. Like, we saw something out of their passing game we hadn't seen all year. On the other side, it seems like all of Missouri's success last year and the year before, probably based on Cody Schrader, the running back that went to the NFL this past year. They can't do anything without him. Like, they almost lost to Boston College, almost lost to Vanderbilt, and now they get the brakes beaten off them by Texas 8-4. So, Missouri, one of the more disappointing teams this season. We've dropped them out of our top 25 power rating because they just haven't shown that they are worthy to be rated that high. They're probably just a bad football team, if we're being real here. As for Texas 8-4, they're in an interesting position now, actually. So their statistics are, they're okay. We're still not super high in their passing game. This previous game against Missouri may just be an aberration. But they're really good at running the football. They're really good at containing the pass. And then, of course, they are still an uber talented team. They've got a lot of talented players. So they are currently undefeated in the SEC standings. Only other team in the SEC that's undefeated in SEC play is Texas. So very interesting situation there. Their two hardest games left are LSU and Texas. Both those games are at A&M. I'm not saying that they're gonna win the championship or anything, but this could be a sneaky playoff team, which, after that loss to Notre Dame, no one would see this coming. So, good for Texas 8-4. They won't actually go 8-4 this year. We can go back to start calling them, Texas A&M, which is their legal name. Missouri, sell stock down the river, bust of a team. No one cares about them anymore. So we already talked about the Vanderbilt-Alabama game in our other video. If you'd like to check that out, go ahead and look for it under our channel. Other big game we watched that was an upset was Tennessee and Arkansas. So Tennessee went to Arkansas's house, and then they got housed in that fourth quarter by Arkansas. So this game is what I like to call a power rating special. So Tennessee went into this game top 5 consensus team, undefeated. Arkansas, on the other hand, was unranked and had 2 close losses. So most people would look at the ranking and the record and say, oh, Tennessee's going to blow this poor team out of the water. Like, what is Arkansas going to do? Like, how are they going to even keep it close? But those of us who follow college football knew that Arkansas absolutely flubbed that game against a bad Oklahoma State team. I mean, we're still trying to figure out how they lost that game. It's incredible. And then the game against Texas 8-4 the previous week was a close competitive game against a team that we feel is a top 15 caliber team. So while on the surface there didn't seem to be upset potential here, it ran a lot deeper than that, and this game showed that. So Arkansas really exposed Tennessee's offense. Some people may have had some questions about Nico Iamaleava and the Tennessee offense coming out of that Oklahoma game, but they were kind of brushed aside. Oklahoma's defense is pretty decent this year. That's Nico Iamaleava's first time in a big game, so we'll just ignore it. Their offense is probably going to be okay. Their offense is not going to be okay. I'm just going to let you know. Now, I'm not saying that Arkansas didn't deserve to win, but the fact that Tennessee was not really able to do anything on offense is kind of concerning. So, this is a big win for Arkansas. Their coach, Sam Pittman, Woo Pig Sooie, he was on the hot seat going into this season. This was a make-or-break year. Well, I think it's safe to say he somehow made it. Or you could say before Billy Napier at the moment. But, yeah, so that was another big win. Really, the stat that really did it for us is just how overrated Tennessee's offense was. Now, the model still views their running attack very highly. It's just that played into the strength of Arkansas's defense, and they were kind of able to stop Tennessee from moving the ball the way they would like to, which is predicated off the run. So, big upset there, though. Maybe not as big in terms of power ratings. And so that game went down. I'm not even going to just waste time talking about Michigan and Minnesota. Michigan's just not a great football team, y'all. I mean, it is what it is. Or Michigan, Washington, I apologize. Now, actually, it's USC, Minnesota I didn't want to talk about because USC is a bad football team. Michigan, Washington is actually interesting because the model had Washington power rated higher than Michigan. And so that another prediction special from the model, we still have it right here. Washington, we're in there. Let me see, power rating of 67.8. Michigan, 60. So the model would have favored Washington had we run it by about 11 points, which is very close to what they ended up winning by. So with that, what caught most people off guard was not Michigan's inability to pass the ball. We've all known for a while they haven't been able to pass the ball this year. What caught people off guard was how this seemingly impenetrable Michigan pass defense was kind of lit up by Washington. So there's two things there. First off, Michigan's pass defense is just Will Johnson. Outside of Will Johnson, they're really bad. Second off, Washington's quarterback Will Rogers, you may remember him from Mississippi State a few years ago. He's had a pretty good year. Washington is very high in terms of our passing game rating. So that was a matchup disadvantage right there for Michigan, and that is what I believe, and the model believes, obviously, would cause the ultimate outcome of that game. So those are all last week's games. I want to look into some of this week's games as well. I know we're all really excited about some of these games we got going on this week. So first off, I want to talk about the Red River Shootout, which is the annual rivalry between Oklahoma and Texas. So I'm gonna pull up some of these numbers here. Oklahoma there. All right, good. So Texas favored by over 20 points. Big spread here, and I think that's pretty appropriate. Texas has shown to be elite in terms of their passing offense and passing defense. Oklahoma, their pass defense is actually not good at all. Now, don't get me wrong, their run defense is phenomenal. Oklahoma's pass defense, a little suspect according to the model. So, while, the Red River Shooter has had some classic games, the majority of them Oklahoma has won in recent years. We think that Texas is going to make this look a lot more like the 2022 version of the game, where I think they won 49-0. Oklahoma didn't stand a chance. It was pretty sad. So not much to say about that game. Matchup disadvantage. Texas's pass offense versus Oklahoma's pass defense. Probably going to carry the win for Texas. Our next game, this one is also interesting, is Ole Miss going to LSU. As you all know, LSU is one of the most difficult places to play in college football. And Ole Miss has to go there about 2 weeks after kind of getting exposed against Kentucky. So what does the model think about that? Model favors Ole Miss by over 20 points. Again, it's looking at a lot of blowouts this week, which is, kind of feels surreal given that it seems like a big week where a lot of classics are going to be played. So what it is the model really is just not impressed with LSU's defense. It really thinks that they're terrible, and that was the key to Kentucky's win over Ole Miss, was their defense had to be good enough, and their offense had to control the ball, and control the clock, by running the crap out of the ball. LSU has not shown the ability to run the ball consistently. Pass attack is really, really good. Garrett Nussmeier is a good quarterback. Run the ball, they're not fantastic at it. So the model says that this is going to be an Ole Miss blowout. The model also is still factoring in all of Ole Miss's wins against, a bakery slate, cupcakes left and right here and there. So this game, I think, is really a prove-it game for both these teams, Both got one loss. Both had playoff aspirations, and I think this is going to determine their trajectory for the rest of the season. Model likes Ole Miss to win big here, hotty toddy and all that. We'll see if that comes to fruition though. And the last game we want to go over is the biggest game of this week, and that is Ohio State going to Oregon. So this is going to be really interesting for Ohio State because they are traveling like halfway across the country to play this game. It's pretty really crazy, the way the Big Ten and the ACC have been restructured to allow for these sort of things. Our model currently has Ohio State as the second best team in the country after Vanderbilt, and they are the only team that we believe has elite numbers in all 4 phases of regular football. Pass offense, rush offense, pass defense, and rush defense, all rated at a 60 or higher, which is elite in our calculations. So they are an elite plus team this year, or from what we've seen so far, uber talented as well. Oregon had some suspect games to start the year. They've been looking a little better, but the model is still dinging them for their offense being a little inconsistent and for their rush defense being inconsistent as well. And that's where we think the model's prediction comes into play. So I'm going to let you guys look at that for a second here. As you can see, another crazy big score, which you wouldn't expect in such a big game like this. But the model sees Ohio State's running offense as the strength of the team, and unfortunately for Oregon, it sees their rushing defense as the weakness of its defense. So Ohio State should be able to control this game by running their running backs, and their defense is good enough to give Oregon fits. And honestly, well, I do think that our other 2 games, Ole Miss and LSU, Oklahoma, Texas, have the chance to be closer. I don't see it for this one. I'm just going to be honest with you. I know there was a lot of fuss around Oregon going into this season, but the matchup here is very atrocious. So don't expect Oregon to win this one. Expect Ohio State to win it. And if Texas kind of stumbles against Oklahoma, doesn't look great, expect Ohio State to take that number 1 ranking next week. Yeah, so that's all the numbers we got for this week. Remember to drink Dr. Pepper, and I'm actually excited. I'm gonna get dinner. I think he said I was having Hot Pockets. I can't wait for that.
Hey everyone, had enough time to say bye to you guys once the episode ended, so thank you again for watching. Remember to comment, like, and subscribe if you want us to hit 500 subscribers so we can start charging you for random crap that you probably won't care about. And before I go, we need to give it up for stats and info.
I tell you what, folks, I haven't gotten to eat anything in so long, but look at this. It's food. Oh my gosh, I am so excited.
Man, I am shocked that he actually met the expectations that we set upon him. You enjoying that Hot Pocket Stats and Info? Stats and Info? Hey. Were you not going to eat it now that we made it for you? Well, you spend all that time talking about how we don't feed you, and then you're not going to eat it when we cook it for you. Oh my gosh, okay, I'm taking that away after I finish saying goodbye to you. It's good luck eating a meal again as long as you work for us.
Hot Pockets. Hot Pockets.
Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to grab a Dr. Pepper while you watch the games this Saturday, and we'll see you next week.